you know my story here too. I'll just tell you mine real quickly. I've shared before, I won't do it again. I see him over there, Chris Piercy. I was an economics major because of Chris Piercy. And Chris, I wish I could say it's because of the content, but honestly it was because of who he is and how he treated me and the experiences he gave me on a day-to-day basis. I could share with you stories about Dan Adams, who's still up there at Serrano High School, and Renee Cortez, all caring for me. You know, and I'm 50, they must be 52 or something like that. They're not. But you know what I'm going to go to real quickly? How many of you know Jan Bonda, former assistant superintendent, right? Jan Bonda. You know, I'm a graduate from here. Hope for everyone if we can, like John, if we can make it at all, if we can. 8th grade, English, and she decided that 4 of us needed some extra work. And so one day a week, she asked our parents, can I give them some additional work? And just that's the last thing you want as an 8th grade boy, right? Holy cow, I got extra work. But the carrot was we would get to drive her car out in the desert if we would do it. Now I see our director of risk management over there, Robert Chacon. No ideas. I'm not saying you should go out and do this, but back in the day we could get away with this. And while that was great driving her car, and if you know Jan, I love her to death. She's not a super driver though, but love her to death. I got to drive the car, but the bottom line is, like you've said here before, right? It was that experience that I've just grown to realize how much she loved me as a student, and that student-teacher relationship still persists to this day, and I'm just so very thankful for that. And I bring up those experiences because you see up here where it says this year-long journey. You know, I've talked to literally thousands of people informally and even formally, and I'm going to get down to the formal piece here, because what I endeavor to do is then go talk about their story, if you will, and that was students. And so what I ended up doing after having in the first half of the year all these informal conversations, I kept hearing this whole notion about what was important to them. I ended up holding student focus groups, all the high schools and middle schools, hundreds of kids. And if we look right up here, this next slide here, here's what I asked them. There were 2 parts to it. And it was really, I love the time, 30 minutes, 40 minutes sometimes at Serrano High School, Chaparral High School, Heritage, Pinyon Mesa, Quail Valley. And like I said, hundreds of kids. And the questions, there were 8 survey questions that they would bubble in. They'd finish in like 5 minutes. And you see what they're around, and you can't read it. There were 2 questions around, do they feel cared for? The whole notion of, do we know their hopes and dreams? 2 questions in the area, do we believe in them? And then there was a question, do they feel valued? Do they feel as if we care when they're absent? And then finally, do they feel as if school is boring? And so I have all the data. I'm going to show you a little bit. I'm going to give it to all of you so you can see, because it's something to really be proud of in terms of how they respond and how they feel about all of you. And then at the end here, their best experiences. I took them through basically that same exercise. Very simple. But the powerful stuff is how they answered. And this is where the celebration comes in. First of all, here's just one of those questions up there. My teachers believe in me and expect me to be successful. 1%, 6%, this is strongly disagree and disagree. This is I don't know. And then this 74%, 32 and 42%, when you add them together, says, yes, I agree that my teachers believe in me and expect me to be successful. Son of a gun, that's awesome, guys. Thank you for doing it. You got to feel good about that. Students are saying, right? They're filling this out, and they were very thoughtful. I want to tell you, they didn't know me in most cases. I knew some, but in most cases, they didn't know me from Adam, right? I'm just Ryan walking in, asking some questions. Superintendent, great. We'll tell you what's going on here. I think they were genuinely authentic. And I asked them questions, not just about teachers, but about staff members, because if you heard today, we didn't just hear about teachers, and teachers are incredibly important, but all of us are important. Christina Barringer in the back wrote a letter to you, and it was just so I guess relevant to this. And I wrote it down because I want to read it. In her email, she wrote, "We can positively impact our students' futures regardless of our roles and responsibilities." And I think Christina's spot on that, and that's how the students answered. And so in continuing in that, I want to change this here and just, these are the messages that they gave me, because after the 5 minutes, I would spend 30 minutes to 35 minutes just talking to them. And that was the best of time. Hundreds of students. And what they would do is they would just answer 2 simple questions. Your best experience, like we just talked about. And then I said, if you have to be a superintendent and you're standing in front of 1,000 employees, what message would you want to send them? And I will tell you, my background here, 24 years, teacher. And boy, I remember, I wish they would say, gosh, Ryan, thanks for teaching me the Pythagorean theorem. It didn't come up. It didn't. Bob, I taught you. You've been talking about that, right? You know, and I'm sorry I taught you too. Melissa, there are a lot of people here I taught. God bless them. But honestly, it didn't come up. And here's what I kind of encapsulated here. Honestly, hundreds of responses, but here are the responses that were probably most important. Hey, they wanted me to tell all of you. This came up time and again. I just have to preface it. Ryan, tell them thank you for, here's the list. And it's huge, but here's how I summarize it. Tell them thank you for caring about our school lives as well as our personal lives. Ryan, tell them thank you for helping us with everything. That everything's important. Pythagorean theorem, you know, yeah. It's important, honestly. I mean, I don't want to diminish the content. We got to teach content, right? But what came up often were other things, right? So many other things we heard in here, and you can only imagine here. For time, I won't share all of them by any stretch. Thank you, I love this one, for treating us like your own kids. Powerful statement. Now, my kids might not say that, you know, the way you treat me, Dad, I didn't know, right? Back to that believing, right? Thank you for believing in us. Thank you for respecting all of us. Thank you. This came up time and again, and you see those little quotes here. Thank you for going the extra mile for us. That extra mile, I asked that time and again, what's extra mile mean? And it meant a multitude of things. You know what? It was when Mr. So-and-so did XYZ, right? And those XYZs were things like, just ask me if I was having a good day or not. When so-and-so stayed after to help me on a problem. When so-and-so, when I walked across campus, waved and said hello. That was the extra mile. Man, that doesn't take much, but wow, that was the extra mile for them. That came up a lot. They also said, thank you for never giving up on us. Thank you for listening to us. That wasn't to me, that was to all of you. And then finally, thank you for saying hello to and asking about us. I guess I referenced that one earlier. Again, the list is long. I have hundreds of responses. I'll get that information out to all of you. But I guess where I started here today was that notion of appreciation, the notion of celebration, the notion of hopefully motivation as well. And when I think about our charge is absolutely positively learning. But I love also that reminder that I would hope that our learning is tied to powerful experiences in total. Because those experiences happen everywhere. I guess I'm just reflecting back on John there, you know, John Calvin, what he talked about, thinking back to when I went to school, and I think it seems like what I heard from a few people in here, it's the same, right? What we recall are those interactions with the people, right? We remember what so-and-so did to us, for us, about us, however it may be. And I will tell you, I'm proud to see that the large majority of our kids feel that way. You should feel proud of that, and I thank you for that, because what you're asked to do is incredibly challenging. It's incredibly difficult. It's way more challenging than when I was in the classroom. And so when I walk around and I get to observe it, I'm incredibly pleased to say that I work for a district that has people that is doing this for kids. And I guess all I would say is this, is never discount your impact on kids, because they're saying that what you're doing for them in that regard is lasting a lifetime. And they're just so appreciative of that experience that's listed up there. And so with that, I guess I just end you with this. This is my summary. So if we go from their story to our story, we're still going to be building our story. We've got to build that collectively. You know, we'll be building, in my opinion, the right way. And I say that because I was the one really who headed up the values. Remember our core values that we worked on years ago? I didn't design that very well. We're going to be working on our vision and our core values, the superintendent's evaluation. I waited to tell you today. I'm going to give you all the results of that. There's great information in that. But the board members said, you know, Ryan, let's make sure that we build that shared vision out, the shared values. I think that's exactly right. We're going to do that together so that we know what we stand for, so that we know that when we're doing our work, we're going to anchor it to what's most important. What we heard back in the day, whether it be here at Toronto High School or all the schools at Long Beach and all the other areas, right? We want to build the school system, right, that's reflective of these last pieces, in my opinion, because this is what I felt like we heard. So far, I think through your great thoughts, your great actions, your great efforts, your great attitudes, you get those results that you saw that were listed there. Thank you for that. Thank you for doing that. I would just ask that you continue to do that. I really am indebted to you for doing it. The students are so very thankful. The second one, continue to focus your energy on connecting, on supporting, on reaching out, on lifting up, and ultimately offering hope, because that's essential. That's essential for these kids. You know as well as I do, we've got kids who really, as I said in that graduation talk, they're heroes to me because they are overcoming just untold challenges that we'll never really fully understand. But they're overcoming them because of all of you, and so I thank you for that. And then lastly, there's just that reminder. School is absolutely about learning that content and having these powerful experiences. And so I thank you for sitting here today. I thank you for signing up again for another year. I know the work can only at times seem insurmountable, but I hope real quickly, and when I send you the data again, you'll see that the kids are responding at levels not just on a CAS test, right? Not just on a local assessment. They're responding by saying thank you. And I was overwhelmed at how readily they said, what's the message? It was open-ended. They said, will you tell them thank you? So if you don't feel like you're getting it, at least they feel that way, right? And I will tell you, the more that we can do that, my word, the sky's the limit for all these kids. So, you've been here a long time. I so thank you for, again, signing up to be on board with Snowline Joint Unified School District. Please know that your actions, doesn't matter where you work, because I heard examples from every single role in this district. You name it, I heard examples of people being appreciative of that work. We stay committed to, I think, what's there, and as we continue to develop our story together, I think we will continue to be the best district, not just here in the high desert, but anywhere around, if we stay focused on that work that we just talked about. I wish you the best here this day, and I wish you the best for the rest of the school year. And something I forgot to do that I just want to do real quick. How many of you are not working right now but decided to come and join us? Will you raise your hand if you aren't on contract? Wow, thank you. How many of you felt like you had to go? No, you don't have to. Honestly, it means a lot to me that we'd all get together just for this brief moment, the one time. And I'll tell you, I should know all of your names. I don't yet. I'm going to endeavor to do so. On behalf of our school board, on behalf of all of administration, on behalf of this entire community, have a great start to the year. I look forward to a wonderful 2017-18. Thank you.